Welcome everybody to the final game of Week 5 for the boys 7-9 league. Jeff Russell here with Chick Coles of the Timberwolves on the camera. Chick, a tough one today. One of the hardest to swallow, would you say, in your upward career?
Yeah, I mean, when you lose by one, that's always a tough situation.
44-43, Gabe Hoover, player of the game in that game, but you had every opportunity in the world to win that game. You know, there were a lot of misses in that game, but your boys fought their hearts out. But one thing I didn't mention in that game, no Philip Umbell.
We missed him,
got
for
by
sure.
me. I got to update my sheet here. That I didn't even realize.
He got sick on Friday.
So Umbell,
At
I'm going to
school.
put that in my notes here. So folks, good one here. Trailblazers and Jazz. Jazz looking for their first win. And nice shot. Brody Torrance returns. Brody been out the last 2 weeks. Gives his team the lead. I'm sure Coach Esra Hoover loves seeing number 53 back. So Philip Umbell out in Week 5. And there's another three.
Yep.
Didn't see who hit that one. We'll catch it on the replay. There's Monteforte with his blazing speed. See if we can catch that last three. And look like Logan Stoltzfus.
Another one.
Another threes are running wild here. So Logan Stoltzfus hit one. We'll go back and see. There's 3 threes. Chick, I can't remember the last upward game that started out with 3 threes. Is that a new record?
I mean, three-pointers are becoming normal for even the smallest players.
I think that was TJ Fox who hit that. Yes, it is. You're right. Yes, I'm pretty sure that was TJ Fox hitting a three. First time ever an upward game has started out with 3 threes, folks. All kind of new things happening all over the place. But Chick, the Timberwolves, you know, you got to tip your cap. They hung in there against a very tough Chase Gwaltney offense, defense. You've doubled up on Gabe Hoover, and still he somehow managed some baskets. What was the game plan going in?
Tough defense. Getting all of our people involved in the game.
Was there did you try to focus on one player? You had Hoover and Stefan.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that they were
the primary guys.
basically their team. And, you know, when you play them that tough and you have the winning shot, you just didn't make it.
Yes, the winning shot was there. Unfortunately, it didn't drop for you guys this week.
And Gabe played the game of his life. I mean, he
was sensational today. And the one thing
he's probably the MVP of the day.
Yeah, so far, without question. Yeah, I never did an MVP of the day. But he was great. And if you want to see, we interviewed Gabe in the last game. If you want to hear what Gabe had to say on the game, it was just, you know, an all-out effort. It was a fun game to watch. Came down to the wire. Those are the types of games. They're so entertaining. If you two met in the championship game, would there be a plan? Anything different than happened today, or would you keep everything the same and have Philip Umbell back?
There wouldn't be a lot of changes.
Do you think you win that game with Umbell?
I do, without question.
I mean, he's having a sensational year.
Yep.
Nicely done there, Zimmerman. Trying to 11-2. Well, the Jazz really want their first win. Good to see Sean Stoltzfus back. Deshaun out there. Grant's out there, and do we have Gideon? Not sure I see Gideon. I think Gideon's out. Little Ian King, check the smallest player at Upward, number 19. Have you seen anyone smaller? Maybe Kieran Hayes?
I don't know.
Kieran Hayes might be. I'll have to check that out. There's Sean. There's Gideon. So all the Stoltzfuses are here. That was Deshaun. Someone made Brody Torrance laugh. Ramirez, look at a cross, stolen. Grant Stoltzfus switches to his left. Nicely done. Drew the foul. Grant Stoltzfus in week 2 was absolutely amazing. Now, the Timberwolves that week, without Gabe Hoover, lost 34-18 to this team that we're watching here in gray. And that young man at the line was lights out. And then the next week, didn't score a point. You can't figure out basketball sometimes.
It's still people playing the game, and
anything goes, right?
you just never know how somebody's feeling on any given day.
Chick, how are the Horned Frogs doing?
Hey, we're doing well.
3-1, I believe.
I'm expecting to be 4-1 by the end of the day.
I think you play the Falcons, if I remember correctly. Are you playing Doherty's Falcons?
I thought we were playing
Brody Torrance for 3.
Greg Reef's team.
Oh, Rife, yes. Is it Reef or Rife? I've called him Rife all these years. I don't know.
You're probably right.
And Torrance trying to get his team back into or giving him his team a bigger lead. Now, Chick, over the years, your career as a whole, Rhoda Casey has you as the #1 coach at Upward ever. I mean, how many championships have you been to? Out of all your teams, after one, 14-4, Trailblazers down. We're going to stay right here with Chick Coles. Chick, out of all of your teams. Now, let's go back to the 2018 Seahawks. Which was your most memorable, most closest to your heart? I know they all were, but did one have a tiny edge over the other? Did the Seahawks perfect?
And that was my first season. Your wife actually sat on the bench with me and helped me through how things happen.
Was that your rookie year?
My rookie year, and we went undefeated. And that's not an easy thing to do.
No, perfect. You were not just undefeated, you were perfect. No ties.
Right.
Patrick Casey's team no boys 7-9 team has ever gone the distance perfect. That is the only league that hasn't done it. You were the first to do it in the 5th, 6th. But that Seahawks team, pretty special.
It was, yeah.
But there's also another team, your 2023 Knicks, Luke Harding. That was a great upset.
It was.
Over Isaiah Lappin, the Lakers that year. That moved you to tears that game, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
And ironically, you didn't say one word on the bench, which was probably the most amazing thing about that championship win. We didn't hear Chick Coles scream once, and you pulled off one of the greatest upsets in Upward history.
Well, you have 3 components to the game. You have the referees, over which you have no control. You have the coach, and you have the players. And if the coach has prepared the players and they execute, there's not a lot for the coach to do on game day.
So you just sat back and let Luke Harding and
Oh.
Preston Merck just do their thing that year?
They were great. You know, it's nice when you peak in the tournament.
That was sensational. Upset. I think you came in as what, maybe the 5th seed?
Probably, yeah. There were a bunch of upsets, weren't they, to get us up there?
Yeah, there was a lot. The Pistons got knocked out. That was Connor. We talked about that with Patrick Casey's team was out of the way. That cleared the path for you guys.
It did.
And what an incredible victory to beat Isaiah Lapp that year. He was the regular season MVP as a 7th grader. Damian Perry was on that team. Carter Watkins, you know what you're getting. So, Chick, you won the championship 2 years ago with Luke Harding. You got to the championship last year, but lost by 1. Now, out of those 2 championships, which one would you say you wanted more? I know you wanted them both badly. Last year, Connor Stoltzfus and company, Seth Wentling, to lose by 1. Did you try to get Waltney to bump into somebody and hit a 3? Was that the plan? They stayed clear of him.
No,
so there was no way they could give you 4 points.
Yeah, no, there was. The guys were pressing. They scored on a couple of turnovers there at the end, and when it came time for the last shot, we needed 4 points.
Yeah, Chase would have had to bump into someone and make the 3. Trenton Zimmerman.
And that's probably one of the more difficult aspects of the game to coach. You know, when guys are going in for layups and they're being guarded tight, to teach them to go into the defender, because they get the advantage.
Absolutely.
When they go into the defender.
Brody Torrance. But Coach, you know, what a career you've had. How much has this league meant to your life? In and out, Carter.
I've made so many good friends, parents, players. You know, I come back year after year because it's worth it. It's meaningful.
Would you recommend to every parent that has a child out there this league?
It's a great league. You know, I like playing with the refs. I like playing with the parents. You know, get them involved.
And you obviously like going to championship games because you've been there a lot, probably more than any coach.
And to see the kids gain inches.
Yes.
And skills.
Oh, that's one of my favorite parts is evaluation day.
Yeah.
To see the kids grow after 8 months. Incredible. Do you think the Sixers will be in the championship game this season?
I think there's more parity in the league this year than I've seen.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I told Connor,
making that call is a coin flip.
I said, this is the most balanced league we've ever had. Grant Stoltzfus. It is so balanced.
It really is.
We saw the Bulls get their first win today. You know, the Jazz look like they're going to win this one here. So that'll mean no teams. Everybody has won a game. Coach, let's talk about some of the players that you've coached. Who comes to mind as some of the most memorable? Let's go all the way back to 2018.
Well, you know,
there's been a lot.
one of the kids that I always think about early when talking about upward is Fonzie.
Fonzie Theo DeSantos.
He was on that team.
The Seahawks.
And he didn't have a finesse game. And I remember one practice, he was all over the guy. I mean, it could have been an illegal tackle.
This is a practice.
A practice, yeah.
Practice.
So I went up to him. We stopped the play. I went up to him, and I literally put my arms around him and picked him up and carried him for about 10 feet. I said, Fonzie, this is not the game we're playing. and he is mentioned that to me more than once. Yeah. But I mean, there are so many. Ronan has his own spot in the game. I mean, he developed as a
Brody Torrance.
As a real player.
Absolutely. Ronan, the GOAT, the boys' upward GOAT. Now, Fonzie would have been the greatest of all time here, but he did not play his 9th grade year, which I weigh heavily in making that determination of the boys' GOAT of this league. And Ronan Casey, what he has done has just been tremendous.
Yeah.
What was it like coaching Ronan, especially in that Seahawks team?
Well, one of the stories I remember about Ronan was I had given him some direction on the sideline.
Torrance!
And put him in the game. He was only in the game for a short time, maybe a minute or so, and I pulled him out. I didn't say anything to him. Finally, he looked at me, he said, "Did you pull me out because I didn't do that?" I said, "Yep."
That's Ronan. He does not like to be pulled out of a game. No way. There's Gitke in a shot. Now, Coach, you did something so amazing in this league that no other coach has ever done. You are the only one. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's one feat that you've accomplished. Yes, you're on the perfect season list. Yes, you have 3 championships. And that was Hochstetler. But there's a feat aside from them that no man or woman or creature has done except Chick Coles. You defeated John Hoffman.
Oh, yes.
And the only one to do it.
Well, we took advantage of their lineup.
Well, we don't need to get into specifics.
Yes.
You won. You said you were going to win a game, and you did. And no other person came close to doing it. And Chick Coles did the unthinkable. John Hoffman, what a team, what a coach. His daughter Katie, the female upward GOAT. But she may be knocked off. If Lexi Gwaltney continues to play, I got to seriously consider she's moved up, a 5th grader chick. 5th grader, she is playing in the 9th grade league. As a 5th grader, the number 2 overall pick.
That's impressive.
She is sensational. She has no weaknesses in her game. But whether or not her father lets her to continue to play is the biggest question here.
Yeah, I mean, you give a natural talent like that 10 years.
She's going to be, Lexi's going to be sensational. Well, the halftime message, folks.
Filling in for Brian today, talking about grace. When I think about grace, I think about kind of the currency of relationships. Like we deal with money in our transactions. Right, you have to deal with money. And in our relationships, when it comes to grace, we're either giving it or we're receiving it. And if it's a good relationship, we're giving and receiving. If it's a bad relationship, then there may not be grace on either side. We're not giving it, we're not receiving it. Those are the kind of relationships generally we try and stay away from because they just drain us, they take a lot out of us, and they're not enjoyable. So when it comes to grace, I want to talk about receiving grace, and specifically for our individual lives. We receive grace from others, like I just mentioned, but we also receive grace from God for our individual lives. There was a guy in the Bible by the name of Paul. And Paul had this problem, this affliction, something that he couldn't get over, he couldn't get past, he couldn't figure it out in his own mind. And so he prayed, like maybe many of us do at times when we encounter difficult situations or maybe even difficult people. And we pray and we ask God to change the situation, or change that person's heart. And if we could just, man, help them to understand, man, my life would be so much easier. And Paul prayed this to God, and God replied and said, Paul, my grace is sufficient for you. For in your weakness, I am strong. And that picture really reminds me of my son Gabe. He's 15 now. But when he was a little guy, he first started riding a bike without training wheels. He was so excited to go biking with me on the roads of New Holland. And what he soon found out as we took off on the roads is that he soon began complaining that, oh, this is taking too long. How long till we get home? Or these hills are too high. And he just didn't have the strength to be able to keep up with me on his bike. And so what we did was, we thought we had this brilliant idea. We attached a bungee strap from my bike to his bike, so that when he would be getting tired and his legs would slow down, that bungee strap would kick in, and my bike would begin to pull him along. So no matter if he was pedaling or not pedaling, that his bike would always be close behind mine. And I think that's a great picture of God's grace towards us, where many times, if we're connected to our Father in heaven, and we have that grace connection, when we encounter moments of weakness, situations where we just can't figure out a way through, or some person that just has us so beside ourselves that we just can't figure out how we're ever going to put up or deal with that person again. When we tap into God's grace, there are times, yes, that He can move on our behalf, and He can change the situation of the person we're dealing with. But then there's many times where He just responds in love and just says, my grace is sufficient for you. And so my encouragement to you this morning is that in whatever situation or circumstance you may be dealing with, or relationship, maybe you're not dealing with any problems right now, but if you're alive, you probably will at some point, is that when you encounter those situations where you just reach your end and you don't have any way through, that you rely and go to God for His grace, because He freely gives to all who come to Him. And His grace isn't just about salvation. It's not just about knowing Him, but it's about every circumstance or situation that we encounter. God's grace is there for us. So let's pray. Father, I just want to thank you for your grace. I want to thank you for your grace in my life, and for everyone that comes to you, Father, that you freely give without reservation because of your love for us, Father. I pray that you would just bless this game, the rest of this game, as we watch it, as we go from here, that we would continually walk in your grace in every area of our life. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
How are you? Yeah.
I'll be over. Awesome. Yeah.
You didn't play at 12:30 for the first game. There he is.
I'm always. How you doing? Good.
All right, we're back. Jeff Russell here with Chick Coles, everyone. Well, I'll tell you, this has been a fantastic day for me, Chick.
How's that?
I got to interview Connor Stoltzfus, Gabe Hoover, and Chick Coles all on the same day. And Mason Monteforte just interviewed the basketball, introduced it to the three-point line. So done, TJ Fox.
Well, maybe Fox Sports will pick you up.
I don't think that'll happen here, but look at all the scoring coming out, Chick. Well, I can't keep up with this. 31-16, the Jazz looking for their first win. Torrance for three. Brody.
Nice shot.
Boy, Torrance is, after missing the last 2 weeks, he said, I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to give you your first win. And I think Coach Esra Hoover won't complain. But yes, folks, Chick Coles defeated John Hoffman. 6 years, he's never lost. And what a game. I think his 4 worst players were the only one that showed up that day. It was a snowstorm.
That's part of the uniqueness of Upward.
That's right.
Because many Saturdays depend on which team you have.
Carter Watkins. Hey, a win's a win, like you always said. Yes, folks, John Hoffman, the record that he has is immaculate. Zimmerman. Chick, I don't think I've ever seen this much scoring in 2 minutes. My goodness, these guys just aren't missing. But check that Seahawk team, how special. Those boys, that group of boys there. Nick Lawkoff, do you remember Nick?
Yep. Well, hey, that's another part of the story. I mentioned your wife earlier. After we won that game, that first game, she said to me, you know, most of the kids on this team have never won an Upward game. I mean, just I could hardly comprehend what she was telling me, and that was kind of fun. My first game, and to have a potentially life-changing experience for 10 kids.
I can't remember the one boy, little chubby guy, Cole. Trying to remember that last name. You had Cole, you had Luke Hodge on that team. Even Enzo Bellini
That's right.
came in on that team. My son Jaden
Yes.
was on that team.
Yes, he was.
And of course the 3 main stars, Ronan, Fonzie, and Nick, were on that team. And boy, that TJ Botal wanted to beat you so bad. I remember seeing TJ at every one of your games. He was there in the crowd. One time I snuck up to him with the camera and, you know, watching him scout you out. The Blue Eagles. Do you remember the Blue Eagles that year?
Yeah.
His son Josh. And they were terrific. Monteforte. The Blue Eagles were terrific. And still, they could never beat those Seahawks.
I only have one regret, and that is that I don't have a memory like yours to be able to remember people back from game 1, how many points they scored.
Well, when you announce, you're really into the game, so you remember easier. There's Monteforte. And Monteforte's not going away here, Chick. It's only a 14-point game, folks.
You're
Stolen.
right.
Mason.
It's amazing how many how quickly 10 points can go by.
Real fast. There's a long pass to Zimmerman. Chick, is there any games that come to mind as far as a comeback? Anything that, remember your biggest comeback at Upward? I can't really remember an outstanding one. I know you've had them.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
the Seahawks.
we were in a pretty decent hole in the championship game last year,
Yes,
and our guys
yeah.
came back.
Yeah, the Grizzlies.
Missed winning, missed tying it by 1 point.
Yep. The Grizzlies, yeah. But you got to tip your hat, Connor Stoltzfus and company,
Oh yeah.
just a terrific team, so you can't be upset at that. Monteforte, they are shooting lights out here. So was that year with the John Hoffman year, was that the only year you coached the girls?
Yes.
41 points for these Jazz.
That's a lot of points in 3 quarters.
Monteforte for 3. And Andrew Horgan came down with it. Good job, Andrew. Chick, how's your son Brian enjoying the league?
I haven't had an opportunity to really connect with him and ask how it's going.
Well, it's not going well as far as wins and losses.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's
They haven't won a game yet.
he's thrilled to be coaching his son, my grandson.
Brian Jr. or Little Brian? Little Brian.
Yeah.
Ramirez.
And he, the way he's going now, his basketball resume looks like it could take off here.
Okay. Do you think Brian would coach next year?
I don't know.
Haven't talked to him about it?
We'll have to see.
The Badgers.
I know he's very busy.
Well, he must be. Because the Badgers right now are just searching for a win. What was it like another thing that you've done here at Upward that nobody else, you have so many of them, Chick. The first father-son matchup ever. Only time that's ever happened that a father and son opposed each other. How was that game?
Oh, that was fun.
Of course you won.
That was, yeah. They're always more fun when you win.
But the Horned Frogs had no problem handling the Badgers that day. But was it a fun experience seeing your son there right across from you? We've had father and son coaching duos, but not against each other. Mm-hmm. First time for that.
Well,
I don't think Ian King is
if we hang in there for another 10 years, that'll probably happen again.
I'm sure it will. There'll be a father-son. But Chick, you're enjoying the Upward League here?
Oh, yeah.
All right, now let's ask you about everything I do here. Has that impacted you or any of their players that you know?
Oh, man. When you send out the weekly recap.
Does anybody look at it? I'm just wondering if anybody's even watching it.
Oh, yeah. I usually look at it more than once.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
And
good to hear.
I forward it to other family members.
Thank you for that. It's good to hear. I never know who's looking at anything I do, whether I should stop doing it. I did the weekly recap way back when Chase was in 4th grade. I remember doing the Wednesday weekly recap. He actually played for Robbie Jacobs' Heat with Xavier Clemson on that team. And I did it. But then after that, I really didn't get much feedback, so I stopped doing it. Monteforte.
I would love to...
Eli, looking for more. Boys, manhandled.
I would love to see us have a fund where you can attract a half a dozen people with a variety of skills, on air, graphics, analysis. I mean, I think probably that would be an area that would really set Upward apart within the Upward franchise and within the basketball community here in New Holland.
Well, we did something similar to that. So when Mitch Hertzler joined me here, he had a website, and this site, we had all the players had their own individual card. They made a little card of every player, kept all the statistics, everything down to the nitty gritty. It was very impressive. It got so impressed that one of the leaders here sent the website to Upward. And I heard that it went all the way up the chain to Kaz McCaslin, but they shot it down, saying that it's not in the spirit of what Upward's about. And they shot it down at the very highest level. So many people were impressed by it, but the whole statistics portion of it, so that was a big reason I stopped keeping individual players' points. I don't do that anymore.
Well, that's too bad.
I know. You know how much I love to do it, but
Well, hey, look.
I don't want to take away from what they're doing here.
Look at
It's Hoover. Zimmerman.
look at where Upward graduates have gone to
Sure.
to make their mark in other leagues.
Absolutely. There's been a lot. How about Jordan Shrewsbury? Is that his name? He's going on to Lancaster Bible College and set all kind of records there.
Yeah.
Got the most points in
I mean,
college history.
I would hope our Upward mission has, includes
Torrance, the follow-up.
supporting our players in their life journey.
Well, one thing I wish they did, I wish they would continue after 9th grade. In fact, I tossed around the idea of having a post-Upward league myself, that I would run it for after 9th grade and have it continue lifetime. Why not have, 10th grade, and if you want to play in your 50s, we'll have you on a team, a former Upward alumni, something like that.
High school, college,
Why not?
and adult life.
I would love it. I love it. I would love to see those guys play after Upward. Now, a lot of them go to guarded spot. I get to watch them there. Here's Caleb Hoover. And Caleb's going to draw the foul. Good job, Caleb. Something I tossed around the idea. Wouldn't mind doing something. Also, I thought about maybe having a league in November and December and warm up everybody before Upward starts. Another thing I throw around. Caleb Hoover, nicely done. So folks, after this, I'm going to head over to Garden Spot Middle School, and I'll be doing the 4 girl games over there from 12:30 to 3:30. And we're going to have Lonnie Hochstetler is going to replace me here. And he'll bring all the boys 5-6 action. Chick, what time is the Horned Frogs? Are they later?
We are at 2 o'clock.
You're the 2 o'clock game, okay. And I don't have the schedule with me. I know you're not playing Brian.
No, we played I think we're going to play him again too, but
You beat the Silverhawks, I believe, last week. There's Hochstetler.
I think we're playing the team that beat my grandson's team last week.
So, you're playing the Golden Gophers. Oh, they're very good. So Tyler Hochstetler on that team, and he's been player of the game every single week. They have not lost. 4-0. The Golden Gophers, Adam Wentling. So Wentling won the championship last year. He's the one that defeated you. And he has not lost this season in the boys 5-6.
That's impressive.
Very impressive. So Adam, his tenure here at Upward has done a reverse. He started out, couldn't win a game to save his life. He's had the Warriors 2 years in a row. I think they both lost, didn't win a game, maybe one. And then all of a sudden, Seth hits a growth spurt, and he's been a winning coach ever since. Won the championship, undefeated this year.
You know, that's fun when your own kids develop the way you would script it.
Yes, yes. Seth was nowhere to be found on the map before he hit that growth spurt, and then he turned into an all-star center. We've seen that with Joel Fox as well. Joel hit a growth spurt, turned into a superstar.
Well, that happened with Brian. He grew like in maybe freshman or sophomore year of high school. That summer, he shot up like 6-7 inches. He went back to school and they didn't recognize him. He was reintroducing himself to all of his classmates.
Well, it's funny, my son Jaden, who played on the Seahawks as a 5th grader, one of the worst on the team, he hit a growth spurt the next year and was the regular season MVP of his team. He held those long arms up, no one could grab the ball.
And teaching that is not easy either.
Right, that's another art in itself. Yeah. Yes. So Chick, how long do you plan on coaching here at Upward?
Oh,
Is there anything it's contingent upon? Championships, anything? Little Brian, any factor?
yeah, I mean, I think looking ahead, I would like to be involved as long as he hasn't aged out.
So you think you'll stay at least for little Brian's career?
I would think so.
There's Torrance flying through the lane. Very hard to stop.
He had a great early career with the two the Lap twins, which I'm sorry that
Nice
we
block
didn't
by
have them this
Freeman.
year.
Hey, check out the sneakers on TJ Fox. Look at those bad boys. TJ, that's it. Carter Watkins came out of nowhere. I believe they were both on that Finn Hertzler perfect season Rams. 2023. There's Monteforte. And Mason trying to keep his team in this.
50 points. Holy smokes.
The Jazz, you would not believe they were 0-4 watching them today. Right to Eli Ramirez. Said, thank you, TJ. I mean, we still have over 2 minutes left to go in this game, and they're over 52 points. So this is the single season record. The Heat had 51. Chick, you wouldn't think this team's 0-4, scoring 52 points. Now, 2 of those games, of course, without their best player. So that definitely, means something. There's Fox underneath. Kicks it out. Little Ian King for 3. Oh, that would have been wonderful. Sean back to Grant. So Lonnie Hochstetler is going to come over after this game. He'll take over and film the next 3 games for the boys' 5th and 6th. Unfortunately, I can't get them on the highlight reel. I'll have to set up instant replay on the other camera, but I think Lonnie's going to be by himself, so he can't do everything. Have you seen any of the instant replay? The instant replay feature we have this year.
Oh, yeah.
Every year I try to add something new, whether it's little, I like to always enhance the viewer experience. I got some more organ chants.
Well, you're a whole lot more skilled at this graphics part than I am. I know how long it would take me to get it together. You'd be lucky to have it by the end of the season.
I'd probably put about 40 hours a week in,
I believe it.
but it's fun. Fun, I love it. Do it for the kids, for the families watching. You know, that's what I do, Here's Fox for 3. That's short. Again, another miss. Freeman ahead, Monteforte. Chick, who would you say, give me the top 2 fastest guys in the league, right? Current and then all time. You can include anybody all time. Now, I'll tell you my 3. I got Mason Monteforte, Gabe Hoover, and Drew Blasinski, if you remember him from Connor's team last year.
I do.
Is there anybody else? I was thinking about putting Jaden Vega and Clay Gingrich from the Sonics. Nicely done, Logan Stoltzfus.
I'd probably throw Chase's name in
Dick
that.
Waltney's up there with them in speed.
In that, oh, he's fast.
That's it, your final, 54-35. Player of the game, Mason Monteforte. Congratulations. The Jazz get their first win, Esra Hoover.